William Samoei Arap Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, is a very bitter man. William Ruto is very angry with members of parliament from the Rift Valley region who are opposed to the importation of the GMO maize into the country. And as a matter of fact, William Ruto is bitter to an extent that he has threatened through his handlers, the Nandi Senator Cherargei, Didmus Barasa, and other members of parliament who are vocal on the issue of the importation of the GMO maize. And for those who are keenly following the politics of this country, when was the last time you saw Cherargei tweeting or talking about the GMO maize? You will not see him. He has been given strict instructions not to talk about the matter. And if he tries talking about the matter, then he's going to know who the real Rutto is. So they have gone underground. Didmus Barasa will no longer talk about the maize importation. Allan Chesang, the senator for Nzoia, will not talk about it. So in this video, I want to explain to you guys why William Ruto is very bitter with this gentleman. What he's trying to achieve by threatening them. Before we do that, for those who are watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Without the support, this channel cannot be where it is. So I'm very, very grateful, and sincerely from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for your support. And for this particular video, I want to make a request. Please just press that thumbs up button and also drop your comments. Do you think William Ruto is in order to threaten the members of parliament from Rift Valley who are opposed to the GMO? Now let us get back to the main issue. And by the way, there is reports that serious fallout is emerging from State House. Rigathi Gachagua is insisting on certain appointments. He's now fighting for the mountain because he believes the mountain gave Ruto more votes, and in any appointment, the mountain must get high number of individuals to those positions. William Ruto feels that the country should now move forward, and therefore the distribution should reflect the face of Kenya. Rigathi Gachagua is not willing to listen to any of those. So the Nation newspaper is actually reporting on their headline that there is tension. I want to read that story, make a few calls here and there, then we'll try and analyze it. But why do you think William Ruto has forced now Cherargei to coil his tail? Why do you think the mouthy Didmus Barasa is no longer talking about the maize? Why do you think the senator for Nzoia, Allan Chesang, who was vocal against the importation of maize, has gone underground? For 4 or 5 reasons. Number one, I think William Ruto is trying to avert a rebellion which was brewing within Kenya Kwanza. There was a strong feeling amongst the Kikuyu members of parliament or the Mount Kenya members of parliament that the noise about the importation of the maize was not about the real importation of the maize. They believed that the noise was about Moses Kuria, that there were plans to use the maize importation to kick out Moses Kuria out of office. Moses Kuria is the cabinet secretary for trade. And many Kenyans were wondering why Moses Kuria was being dragged into a matter which concerns the Ministry of Agriculture. The Minister for Agriculture is none other than Mithika Linturi. So why would Moses Kuria be targeted? So those were the questions. They were concluding that Moses Kuria was being set up and that Moses Kuria was being fattened for slaughter using the maize scandal. So they were coming out to oppose, to support really. They were coming out to support Moses Kuria and to attack the mountain, the Rift Valley members of parliament. And that's why when the issue of the Yella nomination came up, it was easy for the mountain to gang up against Rift Valley, and they decided to vote for one of their own. So the truth is, William Ruto, and that's why William Ruto yesterday, for those who remember, was it yesterday or yesterday, but one, came to the defense of Moses Kuria. He knew that Moses Kuria had nothing to do with this maize. This maize has everything to do with William Ruto. You know, William Ruto is one of the cartels in the maize sector. So Moses Kuria was just doing his work because this thing was discussed at the cabinet level. So they were trying, Ruto is actually trying to avert rebellion from the mountain. Number two is the American interest. Immediately William Ruto came into power, the first cabinet meeting he chaired, of course with the former cabinet secretaries belonging to Uhuru Kenyatta, was to remove that law which was barring the importation of GMO. And even the way the whole thing has been handled, the importation actually arrived, the consignment actually arrived in the country even before Kenya Gazette notice, something which should not happen. So which means there was a lot of interest. So Americans are really interested on GMO because they're producing the GMO down there. They want the market. We are now talking of 10 million bags. They want the market in Africa. DRC Congo, for example, has said no to importation of GMO in their country. Rwanda is saying no. Uganda, no. Only Kenya. So they want the market. And it's not only the GMO. They are also talking of fertilizer. So American interest in this. And you know, America actually made William Ruto the president of the Republic of Kenya because they knew that based on William Ruto's background, he was definitely going to be their puppet. They were going to manipulate him. So because the Americans delivered what Ruto needed, there is no way now that they can be told that the maize is not going to be imported. So William Ruto is opposed to, is actually threatening these members of parliament because of the American interest. Number three, if you look at the members of parliament from the Rift Valley, when they were raising the issues of GMO, the concerns they had were genuine. Those concerns were enough to incite maize farmers. Maize farmers majorly comes from Rift Valley and Western Kenya. Majority of them comes from Rift Valley. And whatever Cherargei and the group was saying was enough to incite those farmers. So William Ruto realized that if these people are allowed to continue talking the way they were talking, if they're allowed to continue going to the ground, to funerals, to say the same things, then it was going to be easy to incite the publics against this particular regime. Remember, the cost of living is so high. Farmers are saying that their produce are rotting somewhere there. NCB is not willing to buy. Moses Kore is saying farmers are hoarding the maize and therefore they are bringing new ones so that the farmers could release, the whole confusion. So farmers were really going to be incited. And that's what William Ruto would not want to happen at this critical moment. Number 4, in my view, is Azimio. Azimio had started opposing the GMO. Miguna joined. Church joined. And then we now had a section of Rift Valley joining. So which means the support Azimio was going to get in terms of opposing the importation of the GMO maize was out of this world. So William Ruto would not have wanted a situation where Azimio would get support from the same Rift Valley people who voted for William Ruto. So to avert that, he only needed to talk to the members of parliament. He only needed to threaten them. And of course, he has threatened them. None of them is now talking. Only Azimio will now be talking. I'm even sure the church might change their minds because the church is now in the pocket of William Ruto. And lastly, scandal. The way this thing is turning out to be a scandal. And the only reason which was being given was that Kenyans needed the maize because Kenyans were dying and because there were no maize. Unfortunately for those who are planning to import this thing, there were hamper harvest in this country. So because of the harvest in the country, farmers were harvesting. You can't import maize during harvesting season. So the question is, what was the hurry for? Why were they hurrying to import maize? The truth is, there are maize cartels in the country. William Ruto is one of them. His people are going to benefit from this, and the noise was going to expose the scandal, and this is what he's trying to avoid. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Thank you guys, and please, may you have a good day for now. Bye-bye.